When it comes to Iraq and an exit strategy,
one thing we can't do is to set a definite date and say we're going to only be here until that date.
Mike Huckabee wants to be the GOP's presidential candidate in the 2008 election.
One of the things that I think is important as I run for president is that I wouldn't second guess the military generals. You tell them what you need to get done, but then they tell you how it has to be done and what it's going to take to make it work.
The pro-life candidate says when it comes to stem cell research,
the problem with embryonic is you're creating a life for the sole purpose of destroying it. For many of us who are pro-life and who believe that a human life is precious and sacred, should be celebrated and elevated, it's troubling to think that we would create a life and then destroy it.
When asked about illegal immigration,
if someone wants to come to this country, they ought to prove who they are with some authentic identification, and they ought to show us that they don't have a criminal background or a communicable disease. And then if they come here and pay taxes and do the things we do and file a legal process, that's a good thing.
But if an employer knowingly hires an illegal immigrant, Huckabee believes there should be consequences. He also has strong words about the issue.
And Congress has failed us. Washington has simply not done the job. Every border of America ought to be sealed.
Huckabee says he believes parents raise better children than governments.
I believe very strongly that lower taxes are better than higher taxes.
And he says marriage is between a man and a woman. As for global warming,
I think there's evidence to say yes, there's evidence to say no. But here's what I do know. I know that we ought to be good stewards of the earth. Because as a Christian, I know that if God created this earth, we ought to take good care of it. We ought to leave it for the next generation in better shape than we found it. And we're not doing that.
When asked if he would consider running as a vice presidential candidate, he said his focus isn't on number 2. And
it's a job nobody wants, but nobody ever turns down.